Hello, Namco Museum fans, and welcome to episode 9. And in this episode, I'll be talking about the race car arcade games. Let's begin with New Rally X, shall we? It's not actually a racing game. It is a classic maze chase game released in 1981. In the arcade game, you had to collect all the flags while avoiding colliding with other red cars. The special flags increase your point multiplier, and the lucky flag add more points on remaining fuel. And yes, the fuel is very important. If you run out of fuel, you'll slow down, giving the red cars a chance to collide into you. Which means you had to collect all the flags before fuel runs out, which means chop chop. There are some rocks you better watch out for. There are challenging stages in the game. In the challenging stages, you can collect all the flags. Luckily for you, the red cars don't chase you in this one, but they will chase you if your fuel runs out. I was about 9 years old when I played New Rally X on my father's PSP. I was 6 when I played Rally X on the plug-in system. Rally X served as the hard version, released in 1980, and New Rally X serves as the easy version, such as the tweak version. How do I know about the Rally X games, you might ask? I remember playing Rally X on the plug-in system when I was 6 years old. The plug-in system I was talking about was a Jack's Pacific plug-and-play system, and this one I played was released in 2003. I was 4 years old at the time, and yes, I was a student in preschool at the time. It's a little kid school, actually. Good old times, because I remember my grandfather picking me up there and taking him to his house. Alright, enough of the history lesson. By the time I was 6 or 7 years old, I played Pole Position and Pole Position 2 on Namco Museum on the Xbox. However, the gameplay I'm going to be showing is Pole Position 2. Pole Position 1 contains only one track, such as the Fuji race track, which is actually a real place. It's located in Japan, somewhere near Mount Fuji, which is where Pole Position takes place. Pole Position 2 allows you to choose 4 tracks along the Fuji racetrack. I choose the test speedway because it goes around and around so you don't have to make sharp turns. In Pole Position 1 and Pole Position 2, your first objective is to qualify for the race. You might find other race cars during your qualification. Depending on how long it took you to finish the qualification, you'll be placed in a different spot before the race. If you're in the first spot, you might be able to have a chance of finishing the race first. However, if you did pass the leading car, you might notice there are more cars coming. I think it has to do with the game mechanics. This is before today's racing games. For the longest time when I was 6 or 7 years old, I didn't finish the qualification and Pole Position 2. I think it has to do with not figuring out where the gear shift is. But when I found out about the gear shift at 9 years old, which is on Namco Museum 50th anniversary on the PlayStation 2, I finally got a chance to finish the qualification. But I couldn't finish the actual race, honestly, because I keep running out of time. According to a YouTuber who did the Coin-Op Classics videos, he discovered the feature as a child and he always keeps it on high. But unfortunately, that's not how you do it. Yeah, speed is hard to control. The trick is, you have to keep it on high when you're traveling in a straight line, but shift to low gear when you hit the turns. Yeah, Fuji Speedway has a lot of sharp turns. No wonder why the test speedway is much easier for me. While Pole Position and Pole Position 2 became popular in the US and Japan, Final Lap came to play in 1988. Similar to Pole Position, but you don't have to worry about crashing into other cars or billboards. And yes, Pole Position has billboards, but they're changed when they're ported onto Namco Museum, which means in Namco Museum they advertise Namco arcade games. They should do the same thing in Final Lap to change the billboards to advertise Namco games. Unlike Pole Position, you don't have to qualify for the race in Final Lap. You just start the race anyway. Final Lap did spawn sequels soon to follow, which I cannot name them all. Yeah, I made a game list for episode 11 on my channel. A game list what Namco Museum Volume 1 and Volume 2 should have. Dirt Fox, which is another of the racing games released in 1989. The game is top view, and yes, there is a gear shift option. In the game, you play as some sort of dirt-like vehicle, and your mission is to finish the race through different terrains, such as dirt, snow, and water. I don't know when Arcade Archives is going to release that game. Right now they're focusing on 3D arcade games developed by Namco. Ridge Racer, which was released in 1994, was one of the 3 polygon games and the first arcade game to be ported onto Arcade Archives 2 back months ago. The race is in 3D, and you have a choice between a gear shift or automatic gear shift when you gain speed. You might notice that your red car has the FA symbol on there. And FA stands for Fighter and Attacker, which is an arcade game released in 1991. It was announced on Arcade Archives, but only in Japan. Ridge Racer did announce some arcade games, such as billboards or advertisements or other race cars. The game was a success. It spawned more sequels. Even Ace Racer became popular as well. Rally X Arrangement, which was released in 1996 on Namco Classic Collection Volume 2, is similar to New Rally X, but with power-ups, just like in other arrangement games. However, only one player can play this game. There are 4 worlds in this game. You can activate power-ups by collecting a blue flag. However, the power-ups that you're about to activate will be seen on your HUD. HUD stands for Heads-Up Display. The power-ups will be using such as laying bombs to destroy enemy cars temporarily, or transform your car into a bigger car you can ram into enemies. Sometimes the power-ups can be used to slow down enemy movements or allow you to speed up. New enemies are added in the game. However, some enemies have the ability to speed up or remain invisible in your radar. Some can emit smokescreen onto you to slow you down. Since I forgot to mention, you can use smokescreen on enemies, just like in New Rally X. And in the final stage, you have to collect all the flags and then head to the goal. New Rally X Arrangement CS version came to play in 2005 on Namco Museum Battle Collection on the PSP. I discussed that game on episode 3 of my channel. There are 6 worlds in the game, and by the time 2008 comes Pole Position Remix, which is played on the iPad or iPhones. Similar to Pole Position, but with enhanced graphics, and there is music while you're racing. This is the only pole position game I got good at, because this game is kind enough to use the sliding controls, and you can accelerate at a bigger speed rather than using a button. The gear shift will shift automatically. If I had to make the turns, I can slow down with the brake button. In episode 8 of my channel, I requested Pole Position Arrangement CS version, and my ideas involving Pole Position Arrangement CS version being the tweaked version of Pole Position Remix, and the soundtrack from Pole Position Remix will be added onto there. These are the arcade racing games I can tell you for the series, and... seeing the script's missing a few pages. Thank you, sir, I'll take it from here. That was the end of the documentary series on Season 2 of my channel. But there's going to be more videos after this. And I am renewing for the 3rd season of my channel. In the 3rd season, I'll be doing mini movies of what the arcade games look like when you start playing them. So by the time if the new Namco Museum game is released, hopefully when you select a game, you're presented with a mini movie. And then after the mini movie ends, you'll proceed to playing the arcade game or the 3D remake. And I wish Bandai Namco released the new Namco Museum games. And I hope they got a chance to look at my YouTube videos. Those of you who are new and been watching my videos, start looking at episodes 1 through 11 on Season 1. Oh, and Bandai Namco, please watch episode 1 through 11. You might get some good ideas about making the new Namco Museum games. Thank you for watching, Namco Museum fans. And in December, you'll be seeing my first episode. What was it, you might ask? Well, guess you're going to have to find that out yourself. See you all in December.